The truth occurs. The truth occurs.
Hi everyone. I'd like to talk to you about Comet Elenin. Comet Elenin was first brought to my attention back in March around the time of the Fukushima quake by the Channel 9 Nania. She'd been tracking Comet Elenin for a while and found that whenever it lined up with the Earth and other planets, there seemed to be an earthquake. And so based on this, she had predicted, seemingly, the Fukushima quake. There was also the channel BP oil disaster who'd been doing similar things with the simulators from NASA. It looks like every time Comet Elenin aligns with the Earth and another planet or planets, we have a major earthquake. March 11th, the 9.0 quake accompanied by a 4-inch shift of the Earth on its axis. That was during an alignment, and the 27th of February with the 8.8 Chile quake and a 3-inch shift on the axis, that was during an alignment as well. Now the thing is, the next alignment is in about 5 days on the 26th of September. So some people think that this could mean we could be in for another earthquake, maybe even a partial eclipse that could possibly last up to 3 days. Also on October 17th, Elenin will be the closest to Earth that it's going to get, and some people think this might cause another shift of the Earth's axis. And around October 31st, we're going to cross through the trail of debris of Comet Elenin. And in November, Nibiru or Elenin, depending who you ask, is going to align with Earth, Venus, and Mars, and I guess this could mean that we would have another major earthquake. A lot of people are kind of, putting this together with Bible prophecy and, St. John's Revelation and the stars falling to Earth in 3 days of darkness, but does that mean that that's what we're really dealing with here, biblical prophecy? Not everyone can even agree on what Comet Elenin is and whether it poses a threat. Some say it's a comet and it's just going to pass, and some say it's a brown dwarf. Richard Hoagland from Enterprise Mission even says that Elenin is a spacecraft. So are there any signs from the government that something big is coming? Well, FEMA is doing a drill on the 11th of November to test the emergency alert system, and some people think that might have something to do with Comet Elenin. But then again, Carl Kalaman says that the world won't end on December 21st, 2012, but on October 28th, 2011. So maybe he's wrong, or maybe FEMA shouldn't bother doing any drills in November because we'll all be dead by then. Personally, I hope it's not October 28th this year, because I thought it was December 21st, 2012, and having it happen in like a month from now is a bit like having your guests show up early when you're not ready. Of course, if Richard Hoagland's right and it's a spacecraft, then of course it's not going to run into us. It might just land here and then like the aliens will come out and that'll be it, but it's not going to, blow up the Earth or anything. Anyway, it's like nobody can really agree on what is going to happen when Comet Elenin comes down. And so I looked at the Illuminati card game to see if I could get a clue. Because don't laugh, I found clues in there before. Like when there was the earthquake in Fukushima, there was that multiple combined disasters card that showed an earthquake hitting Tokyo. So I looked at the Illuminati card game, but the closest I could find to a clue was maybe this. On Above Top Secret, they're talking about the card Gnomes of Zurich, i.e. the bankers. But what's interesting is if you look at the Swiss money, this is weird, doesn't that kind of look like the orbit of all the planets here? And then maybe this is the Comet Elenin coming in? Could it be? Do the Gnomes of Zurich know something that we don't know? At times like these, when we might be facing some kind of impending disaster, I like to keep track of what the elites are doing. And it's been noted that Obama has apparently been ordered to Denver bunker by the US military. But it's nothing to do with Comet Elenin, it's to do some kind of maximum readiness alert drill called Cocked Pistol on the 27th of September. Some people say that whatdoesitmean.com is disinformation, but who really knows what is accurate and what's not? Our mainstream media certainly doesn't tell us the truth. I checked with the mainstream media about Obama's itinerary, And the Huffington Post confirms that Obama will be wrapping up his West Coast trip with a stop in Denver on the 27th of September. They didn't say anything about an underground bunker. But if he was going there, do you think they would tell you? And he's not the only one who's going to be out of the country. Bill and Melinda Gates are going to be in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Probably just pushing more vaccines. Or maybe they're getting out of the country for some other reason, but they're not going to be here. Is this just nothing? Is Comet Elenin just a comet that's going to pass by? Or is it really going to be an extinction level event? The name Elenin, E-L-E, extinction level event, nin means something else. I can't remember what. You know, is it code? Well, I talked to Francis Walsh, who's an amateur astronomer and a Comet Elenin researcher, and he has a radio show on Revolution Radio, Fridays 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I had him on my radio show on American Freedom Radio twice, and we talked about Comet Elenin. And he said that, first of all, it's a comet, it's not a brown dwarf, and that a comet itself doesn't pose any kind of threat. It's just that at some point somebody, called it a brown dwarf, and that's why everybody's so worried about it. But it's really just a comet. It's going to pass by. He also says that it has not disintegrated. It's still there. It's just that where it is right now, you can't see it. As for the alignments, he says that we've never had a true alignment. It might look like an alignment on the NASA simulator, but it's not an equatorial alignment. The equators have to be lined up. The equators of all the planets have to be lined up for it to be a true alignment. So I don't know if this is accurate, but this is what Francis says. So if you're really interested in Comet Elenin, I would recommend that you go to Revolution Radio and listen to Francis's show Collision Course, which is on Fridays from 8 to 10 p.m. EST. And I think he's very knowledgeable, and he could probably, help clear things up for you. So I see a lot of people really being worried about this, and personally, I'm not going to worry about it too much, because chances are that it's just a comet and it's going to go by. Maybe at the worst we'll have an earthquake somewhere in the world, but you don't know where that earthquake's going to be. So what's the point of packing up your stuff and bugging out to somewhere else? Because maybe you're going to bug out to another place and then that's where the earthquake's going to hit. So what do you think? Should we freak out? Do you think Comet Elenin is a threat, or should we just, not freak out? Well, leave me your comments, and thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.